Welcome to another review and discussion. I am the Angry Raccoon.
I am Ace.
And on this one, probably one of the last ones we're going to do in 2017, we're going to be talking about Lu Over the Wall, which is a film that was only out for one day in this country.
Yeah, very, very limited release.
I know one other cinema was showing it the day after. But you can't see this film in cinemas right now. If you can, please let me know.
Yeah.
So we can provide information for other people. But yeah, we're going to be doing a review on this Japanese animated film coming from one of my favorite directors and animators. Oh, let's try and do his name, which I'm partly like looking over, and my eyes are kind of like splitting for the most part. It's like Masaaki. I believe I said that correctly.
Oh, is it Masaaki Yuasa?
Yes.
I think so.
I'm saying it wrong because they say it differently how they inform themselves.
Yeah.
But director of such classics and been a part of so many projects, more notably like Genesis Party, Mind Game, the Tatami Galaxy, Kaiba, the Tatami Galaxy, I'm forgetting, and a few other projects.
Yeah.
The Night is Young, Walk Alone Girl,
which was originally called Maiden Galaxy,
which I still haven't seen it, so I'm not sure if it's actually tied to the Tatami Galaxy.
Yeah.
Just by the art style, it probably is. But spoilers, whatever. But yeah, we're gonna jump straight into this one. But first, we're gonna talk about something that actually, interestingly enough, happened when watching this film. Now, I'm actually gonna tell this story. So basically, I'm getting to the cinema, the closest cinema I can find to get to this cinema, and I get there, and surprisingly, and I am happy to see this, it is quite a packed cinema, so it's like, you can only have like a few seats. So I decide, I'm going to go for pretty much top row, kind of in this corner for the most part. So I sit down, getting ready, getting my notebook out and all that, and then I see the first person coming along, and I knew someone was going to have to sit next to me. That's fine. I'm kind of moving my stuff, and they're like, that's okay, Raccoon. And I'm like, wait. Turns out it's a friend of mine, more a friend of Ace's, who's here. And I was like, oh, damn, what a nice coincidence popping by. And then also kind of having the confirmation that, Ace is coming, he's just running a bit late. So
I actually thought the film started 20 minutes later than it did. So I thought, I'll get in time 10 minutes early. Which, I luckily missed all the trailers, though. Yeah. And I walked in, was kind of like jumping up the stairs, basically, to get as quick as possible. I was going across, like, there she is. So then, start sitting down, and then I'm like, wait a second, something seems different.
Something seems ominous.
And then I sit down, and I look over, and it's like, Raccoon's there. I'm like, oh! Okay, this is weird.
Did she like, it was almost like one of those moments, but it's nice.
It was really fun.
It was a funny situation. As you get down to the story of this, I think although we do go into like spoilers, we're not going to spoil absolutely everything. Yeah. Only because this is a film not a lot of people have seen and won't be able to see for a while. So we're not going to spoil every single detail, but there are going to be spoilers pretty much from here on out. Yeah. So let's kick it off. And how exactly do we start talking about Lu Over the Wall?
This is a really tough one.
It's a tricky one, yes.
I think maybe a brief plot summary could help.
I could, I guess, provide that in a way. So essentially, we have takes place in a kind of like a fishing town, the dying fishing town for the most part, and there seems to be essentially stories of mer people. Basically, our main character Kai, who is essentially kind of likes to make music, kind of in a band, essentially kind of attracts a mermaid, whatever you want to call it. I don't really know what she is. Lu, who essentially can only kind of walk on ground to the beat of the music, and from there we have it's magic and music from that point on.
The whole thing,
and it is amazing.
Yes, it's got an amazing art style
amazing use of art styles, I should say,
and the music is surprisingly great.
I was shocked. I went into this film literally having only ever seen the poster.
Yes,
I didn't know anything about this film.
I hadn't watched the trailer or read anything into it.
I literally just looked at that poster and went, I love Ponyo.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
this director.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see this film.
Yeah.
That's what sold it for me. And I'm so glad I did actually see it, because it was a really good film. And like almost like every aspect for the most part. I loved it. It was so good. I mean, the animation is... I was going to say the highlight, but there's too many highlights. It was one of the most unique things, because they definitely use so many different styles of art style, and I definitely like the way they blended and transitioned between them. There's like more obvious ones, but those more obvious transitions are quite comedic. Like, for example, there is a great shot where it's just two characters. You just see like their torso, pan down. They've got the sporadic dancing legs, which obviously is a nice reference to kind of like 1930s animation, and kind of just that nice like, oh yeah, my feet are going crazy, and that was great. And even just the way that there was a particularly fantastic shot I loved when Kai was in the water, and whenever he went into the water, he had this nice shot where it was like a nice line above water. There's a nice shot wherever he kind of was in the water. The animation got very loose and weird, and he popped back up, and he was more normal and unified, and I loved that, and that was so great, because it essentially is water, and it's a nice interpretation of showing like refraction and the way water manipulates things. And even just throughout when they had some of the flashbacks as well, having a different art style, and just some of the visual cues is just, oh man, I could just marvel at everything. And last thing, because I know I've rambled so much about the animation, the use of 3D animation was done so well in this.
On the most part, yes. There were very few bits that I was like, that looks a bit rough, but they were very backgroundy stuff, which you're not supposed to pay too much attention to. But my eye wanders the frame, because I'm like, oh my god. And
it's like a spiral. That's what your eyes do when you're watching film.
Like I think one bit was when it was very zoomed out, and they were on a boat, and there was another little boat very early on. And you weren't supposed to be paying attention to the other little boat, but it was very CG, and it looked a bit distracting, but you're not supposed to pay attention.
It was one of those cases where it wasn't distracting, and you could tell that for me the 3D was actually used for an actual reason, instead of going, well, we have to use 3D. In some sense, it could have even just been like a stylistic or limitation thing. So therefore, and even then, like I said, I think it blended perfectly. It didn't bother me like it does in other animations, where it stands out way too much, and you go, oh, I'm watching animation,
compared to a lot of animes.
I think this is one of the better uses. Definitely 2017 has definitely been able to use 3D animation a lot better. They're really blending it in selected ways. I'm not talking about shows that are in 3D. I'm talking about, for some reason, we need to use 3D, but we still make it work. I'm not saying it's mastered. I'm saying we are getting better at it. Lou is probably one of the best examples. That's what I would say.
I can agree with that.
Yes.
A brief point into my artsy-fartsy thematic bullshit.
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
Something I really like. So there's this film, and I can never remember the name of it, and there's the iconic moment of a city guy sitting down next to this country boy who's playing the banjo, and they're playing the music together, and that's how they communicate. And it's about the meeting of two worlds and communicating through music. I felt like the whole film was this. And it did it really well.
It did it so well.
How like just music ends up bringing people together.
I mean, obviously I didn't know what was going to happen in this film, but I think when I kind of realized music was going to be a really strong element of it, and that's when his Kai and the other two characters, definitely kind of Kyu and Iba, when they kind of like start playing the music, and you actually kind of hear that this is actually a song that someone made. This isn't just these kids. This isn't someone goofing around making a beat. I was just like, okay, I know where you're going. I can, this is good. I hope you just keep it, and they do. It doesn't. The music never overshadows the film. It's just a part of it.
Exactly. It's I'm terrible at this German word, the Gesamtkunstwerk or something, where it's the whole of the work.
Okay.
And it blends into it so well.
Yes. It didn't feel like a musical. It didn't feel like this is a film about music, or it didn't even necessarily feel like it was a film about the meeting of two worlds.
They were using the music to, like, I'm trying to enhance it. It was part of it.
To use a quote from one of my favourite albums of all time, the music's coming through me.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that. Let's say the director saying that, something like that, or the characters. But that could be one of the ways to explain it. But I really liked the music. I liked its kind of poppy techno kind of vibe to it, very weird, and especially even one of the last songs where Kai sings this kind of nice, like, you know, ukulele ballad, and it just has the starting line of I don't know how to sing, yeah, which I thought was great, and he's just at the end just going in, just like emotion.
It's so it's powerfully effective.
You could feel it, but it still could maintain that line, which is I don't know how to sing. I'm just strumming this, and I'm just going for it.
Don't know how to, but I'm going to do it anyway.
You know, and I love that. I love that aspect of it, and the music was definitely great. Another aspect I love that this film was colourful.
Yeah.
And very vibrant and very weird, but at the same time, it didn't feel too colourful. It definitely felt like it was its own colour. It was its own kind of world. And one thing I think I haven't seen too many people talk too much about is I really did like the world.
Okay.
Obviously, it's not the most memorable world ever, but I don't think that ever was its intention.
It feels lived in.
Yes,
like it's
believable.
Exist.
It's believable.
Yeah.
And even with the merefolk legends, I think that just added a nice thing to it. And then they went one step beyond where we had all the other older people who had like backstories and history of all that kind of stuff. Where there's like they had like the superstition, and there was like a bit of revenge in there as well. And I was like, that's great. Like I can understand that.
It feels like an actual existent town.
Yes. It feels, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. It feels exactly like that. And that's kind of like the only two complaints I really had was, and it's not even one of them is not even a bad thing. I just wanted more.
Okay.
You know, and that kind of goes into my other negative was I felt some of the dialogue scenes were a little bit too dragged out.
Okay.
Only 3 of them.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of like torn between like, if you just added more of the world and cut those scenes down a bit more, you know, that's kind of my thing, and that's why I kind of say that that's like my only real like, negatives or issues with the film. But you know,
I think
too great.
My negatives. I'm gonna have to go onto a tangent first to explain this.
Oh, okay.
So
do we have time?
Yeah, it'll be brief. So films are usually cut into like acts, like 3 acts.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Start, middle, end. I don't like this. I usually cut it into 4 acts. So you've got the start, the rise, the fall, the end. Because it feels better to me.
Okay.
For this film, I thought the first act and the second act, absolutely amazing. I loved them. I think the third act wasn't paced that great. I think it dragged on a bit.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think I would say, because I'm going to be kind of nice, I think it was 2 minutes too long.
Yeah, okay.
I would say that much because I think there was a good use of escalation.
Yeah.
I think I definitely liked the way things ramped up, and I definitely liked the way things ended. But I think if we cut maybe 2 minutes, maybe cut a few plot points, maybe I think we would have had a stronger finale. But I still liked it, and I still liked what they did with it because it was really great. And it was, I think, the natural and perfect conclusion to the film for the most part.
But I think because the third act felt paced roughly for me, the ending also felt the effect from that.
Okay.
It felt a bit long because the third act felt long.
Okay, yeah.
But overall, I did really like it. And
the film?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a saying that people have been saying for a while now, but it's more low down. Like, not everyone says it at the moment. That I think a lot of films should just cut like 5 to 10 minutes from them, and they'll just be better. Like when they're making the film.
Yeah.
Almost every film could benefit from this because some just feel so dragged on. This one cut 5 minutes. I think it could have been.
I'd say 5 minutes because this film's not even that long neither. No. I think it's like hour 40.
Yeah.
And even then, and we still come off with the impression of even with the things we don't like, we still consider this to be a very good film and fantastic film.
Damn great.
I mean, because our negatives are like minute for the most part. Obviously, they bother us, but it's not making me go, I will never watch Lure of the Wall. That was awful. I can watch it again and go, yeah. You know what I mean?
I recommended this to my brother and everyone in my family. Because I knew everyone would enjoy it.
They're sick of hearing you talk about Lure of the Wall now.
It's
such an enjoyable film. It's so upbeat, and it definitely does feel like a family film. And there is like one thing that was also surprising as well, a nice bit of comedy.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the writing, and I thought that was surprising amounts of comedy. Definitely a lot of moments that definitely caught me off guard as to how funny they were, and just kind of out of the blue, some of these jokes when, like, especially with towards the end where the guy has his puppy like dog, and then he sees like the murder dog, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get rid of you." And the dog just jokes, he's like, "No, help, please!" You're thinking obviously like the sirens and moments drag him off to the depths and kill him, or something like that. And even like with Grandma Octopus, kind of getting her, whatever. I guess you could say. I can't really kind of like phrase that, but I'm kind of neglecting to talk about one really important thing, and that's Lou. Herself.
I thought Lou was adorable.
I thought Lou was perfect.
Yeah.
Because there was one thing that I thought could completely ruin this film, and that was her voice.
Yeah.
They could have easily given her an annoying voice, and they didn't. And it was a voice that made sense because her voice is auto-tuned, and that was perfect.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, that is like such a nice thing, and
it sounded like...
It sounded...
underwater.
Yes, exactly. It sounded like she was a fish or something like that, which made sense, and I loved it. I love her design. I love the fact that her hair is technically water with fish in it. I love the fact that she can still kind of walk on two things, which is really weird. I love the really funny detail where like she suddenly turned her teeth into shark teeth.
Yeah.
And made that kind of like really biting animation and stuff like that, which makes sense, seeing her father, who is another standout character who just appears and he's just like, here I am.
Yeah.
There he is. To some extent. It was...
Fun fact about the voice actress for Lou. This was her second role, I believe, and the actress is only 13. She is doing amazingly.
Yeah. She is.
She was in Your Name. She was the younger sister.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 2 brilliant characters so far.
Yeah, she's been having a good 2016 to 17.
Yeah, exactly. But the dad, he had one of my favourite joke moments.
Oh yeah, which one's that?
The time bit.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic.
It was so well done.
Just the fact that I'm just gonna wait here.
Yeah, and considering how things go on later, it certainly shows the character.
Yeah, it
did. Which is good.
Towards the end, and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like, damn. That was great.
Really good setup payoff.
Oh yeah, and he's a very fun character. I especially like the moment where he's just kind of standing outside Kai's house and he's like, hi.
Yeah.
And I kind of got that impression that he was like, so you're hanging out with my daughter. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, exactly.
He was like, hey, I've heard a lot about you. You seem like a cool guy.
Yeah.
I like that kind of aspect because his character was just weird and kind of... dumb in a sense.
Design really reminded me, like, it was very Ghibli-esque.
Yes.
And I know everyone throws that up about anything anime.
I was going to mention there are like Ponyo references, but this film stands on its own as an original film.
I love Ponyo. Like you also said this. Yes. It's one of, I'd say, very underrated for a modern Ghibli film.
Oh yes,
which is ridiculous.
Yes,
and despite some superficial similarities.
Yeah.
They're both excellent.
They're both excellent, both original. I can understand, obviously, people going, oh, it's fish, she comes out of the water, she's kind of human. Yeah, that's as far as it goes. There's no, I wouldn't even say there's any ripping off. There's no ripping off. I loved, and it was great. I mean, her character was pretty cool, and I loved everything they did with all the characters as well, and even the quote-unquote villains were great as well, because it was somewhat understandable that they would freak out like that.
I did think that they were kind of unnecessary for that role.
To some extent,
I think being incompetent would have worked better.
They were somewhat incompetent.
But more incompetent than exploitative, I guess.
Ace wants the bumbling fool.
Not that, like... We gotta get Lou. Nothing like that, no. More like they have this idea and it fails outright.
But it kind of does, in some sense.
It works and then fails. That's the difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with them. I think the film would have been worse off if they were the villains throughout the whole of it.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was just because that's what I say. It's understandable why the villains would even act like that, and I'm glad it's kind of like, I'm the villain, I got to do this, and it's like, we're done with you. Let's go back to whatever. Yeah. I think that was the whole point of those characters. The film obviously didn't need a villain, and the villains they have are fine. I did like what they did. If you're gonna have villains in something like this, then you did it correctly. I would at least say. But yeah, it's just I can't stop marveling over this film.
It's just really good.
It is. It's really good. Ignore anyone who says it isn't.
Yeah.
Because they obviously have never experienced joy in their life.
Either that or they just have a really subjective bias against it. Which...
Yeah, I do know of certain critics who are like that towards animation in general,
Yeah.
and it's always just animation is for children, therefore I do not look at it or give it credit.
Yeah.
I have disagreed with plenty of critics who kind of have that mentality, because it's like, hey, it's still film, it's still an art form, can you not at least give it a shot, please?
Exactly.
Because you are kind of missing out on things like Lou overall.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was anything else. You know, let me check my notes real quick, because I have a feeling I might be missing something. Because there was so much that I loved about this film. Like, I loved the weird cinematography. I loved the odd use of perspective and angles in some shots to really get things weird. And I loved there was basically magic in it.
Yeah.
I loved there was basically magic in it where Lou is encapsulating water and commanding it.
I know.
Those really weird ways. And even just the first shot where she puts water solidified in some form into Kai's house, and I was just like, right.
That bit was great, and the thing is, they didn't over-explain it.
No, because it didn't need to be explained. Exactly. It's magic. You don't have to explain anything. Yeah. You know, I'm glad it wasn't like, you know, Grandpa's like, let me tell you how the merfolk's magic works. Yeah. They take salt and they convert it into energy, and that allows them
to solidify water.
I'm glad there wasn't. A worse film would have done that. You know, and there was just fun things like they didn't need to explain. Like, there's merdogs. Yeah. You know, that's it. You know, Lou decides, I'm going to bite some dogs. Yeah. Because she has the power to turn anything into a merdog or a fish, basically. Which is a bit creepy, but, you know, it's funny. But I was just like, okay, it's too much stuff.
It's just, highly recommended from both of us, I can safely say.
I think the only thing I would say is I want my art book.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some of the processes in which they got to some of the characters, and I'd like to see those. I'd like to see more of that, basically. I would like to see how you got from, I want to make a mermaid character to perfection. I want to see that timeline. Because I really do think, all the characters I think are very well designed. I think it's a very memorable film and a very memorable cast. I can remember all the characters, even the villains. I'm like, that guy's an arsehole. Oh, I think he's Grandpa. I love him. He's just some weird Western guy. Kai's dad. I love him. I love all the characters. Small cast as well. But I love Grandpa as well. Grandma Octopus. I remember all the cast because it's that memorable, and I think everyone is very well designed. The director himself knows how to make characters look like cartoony, but also keep within a sort of realistic.
Feel like people.
Yeah, they feel like people. But he always has like characters that kind of are just a bit like cartoony or unrealistic. Like, obviously we had the character I call Grandpa in this as well. And even in the Tatami Galaxy, one of the main characters looks like a devil, or like a demon. And they do have an explanation for that. And it's funny, but it's like, he is an evil person to some extent, but it's like, he just looks like that. And that's kind of the explanation is, he's just like that.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'll have to show you that character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do honestly think Lou is the definition of perfect design.
Really, really well done.
Yes. Like, I want my poster, I want my statue.
I want my Blu-ray.
I want my exactly. I want my Blu-ray with my poster and my statue.
I want a good dub too. Don't fuck up the dub.
Given the director's past work, we might not get that.
Okay.
The Tatami Galaxy is not in English.
Fair enough.
Nor is a lot of his stuff, because I don't know if he has a hand in that or whatever, or because I think he's very good at casting. Yeah. And I think he always has actors who are always able to talk realistically like people. And that you always see that in his films, especially in the Tatami Galaxy. I know talk about that is one of my favorite animes of all time, but just as a comparison, the main character talks like a rapper in that he talks like a normal person. He talks like how I'm talking, which is at somewhat of a fast pace. Yeah. He talks normally. And obviously people get upset with English subs because they slow it down. It's a bit weird, and it's like, let me tell you about his super move. But instead, the main character is talking about Lewis, this crazy fish person who's doing all this magical stuff. And it's like that, basically. You know. But I don't think I have anything else to add other than watch this film as soon as it comes out.
Definitely.
I would like to see this film get the Your Name treatment where they put it back in cinemas.
Yeah, that'd be nice, but it's
unlikely.
Yeah, it didn't get the same even promotion. I mean, Your Name got like 2 weeks on its like first.
Well, that's
release.
because it was like hype and that.
And then it got another 2 weeks in early Jan.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to maybe it comes back for like one more night. So
that'd be nice.
One more time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, something like that. Because I think with the crowd we watched, because I was seeing some old people there. I was like, "What you doing here, boy?" But I don't actually do that to people when I see them. And I go, "You ain't allowed to be here. This is my anime. You're not allowed to enjoy it."
I say that. I tell people, "What are you doing here? This is my cartoons. Leave me alone."
This is my animations.
No, I just say the cartoons.
Get out of here, old man. This is Sword Art Online. You don't get it.
Sword Art Online is the best cartoon. You hear me?
Yeah, better than Berserk. But yeah, I think even then, I think the crowd definitely enjoyed this film as well. I think you can kind of tell a lot of them didn't really know what they were getting into.
Yeah.
But I think everyone kind of walked out that going, that was really good.
Yeah, exactly.
I know the film has definitely been successful, both critic-wise and I think profit-wise. Not that I really care. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the director's next film because he said at the beginning of this year, I'm working on my next film.
Yeah.
So I don't know when that's coming out, but I'll be looking forward to it.
And we still need to watch The Night Is Long Walk on Girl.
Yes, I'm going to watch that.
Yeah.
I have methods.
I have ways.
I will be talking about that film soon. That's what I'm going to say because I cannot let this pass up.
Same.
And you also need to watch the Tatami Galaxy.
I do.
Come on now, taking my copy home. Yeah. But anything else we need to add?
I think that's it.
Go see Low Over the Wall as soon as it comes out. It's a really great film, especially if you like animated films, anime, and anything that's enjoyable.
Yeah.
I was the Angry Raccoon.
I'm Ace.
And we will see you on the next review and discussion.